Recently, footage published by Russian state media has shown an Geran 4 single-use attack drone striking a Ukrainian Air Force MiG-29 medium-weight fighter as the aircraft prepared to take off at Voznesensk Airfield in southern Ukraine, destroying it. Ukrainian sources confirmed the aircraft was lost, with the Ukrainian Air Force Command also confirming that a second MiG-29 was destroyed during a combat mission on June 27 over the Poltava region. Russian sources reported that 2 MiG-29s were destroyed at the airfield during the strike, indicating that 3 MiG-29s may have been lost in total. The Geran 4 is one of Russia's latest attack drone types, and builds on the capabilities of the Geran 2, a licensed derivative of the Iranian Shahed 136. It is powered by a Chinese Takeoff LXWP-160 turbojet engine and is considerably more difficult to intercept than the Geran 2. Announcing the strike on the Ukrainian MiG-29, the Russian Defense Ministry noted that a second MiG-29 was also hit by a Geran 4 at the facility. It observed, "During reconnaissance and strike operations at the Voznesensk Airfield in the Nikolaev region, preparations for the takeoff of 2 Ukrainian MiG-29 fighter jets were detected. One of the combat aircraft loaded with air-launched munitions was positioned on the apron in front of a reinforced concrete shelter. The second aircraft located inside the shelter was being refueled from a tanker truck. As a result of a strike on the airfield using 2 Geran 4 Seeker unmanned aerial vehicles, 2 MiG-29 aircraft loaded with munitions, a fuel tanker, a specialized APA-5D mobile airfield power unit, and the flight and engineering personnel who had arrived to prepare the aircraft for takeoff were destroyed." Having been inherited in large numbers following the disintegration of the Soviet Union, the MiG-29 formed the backbone of the Ukrainian Air Force's combat fleet before the start of full-scale hostilities in February 2022. Unlike the much higher-performing Su-27 and Su-24M fighters that were also in service, which have seen numbers in service diminish much more rapidly, the MiG-29 fleet has been replenished by donations from across Eastern Europe as former Warsaw Pact states retired their aircraft from service. The MiG-29 continues to perform a wide spectrum of combat missions over Ukraine, and while highly constrained in its air-to-air capabilities, the aircraft been modified to integrate NATO air-to-ground weaponry, most notably the AGM-88 HARM anti-radiation missile to target Russian air defense systems. The aircraft have at times suffered from intense losses, with 17 assessed to have been shot down during 10 days of air battles from October 13 to 23. The lack of sufficient numbers of Soviet fighters in service or in storage among NATO member states after the donation of MiG-29s has led multiple members to invest in re-equipping the Ukrainian Air Force with NATO standard fighter types. These include used F-16 and Mirage 2000 fighters donated by multiple European states, while in future newly built Swedish Gripen E, F and French Rafale fighters are planned to be supplied in considerable numbers. The F-16 and Mirage 2000 have been confirmed by multiple sources in the Ukrainian Air Force to be far from capable of engaging modern Russian fighters or air defenses, which has led to them being operated far from the front lines while avoiding hostile aircraft. Although modern F-16 Block 70-72 fighters equipped with advanced AIM-120D or AIM-260 missiles could potentially threaten Russian aircraft, the F-16s supplied are obsolete Cold War-era variants that were from the outset seen to provide little improvement over the MiG-29 other than availability in greater numbers. According to intelligence data, the jet UAV Geran 4 has a new purpose-built airframe with improved aerodynamics and reinforced structure, as well as a higher thrust turbojet engine. The wings are now fixed to the center section rather than detachable. To reduce aerodynamic drag, the number of access panels on the fuselage has been reduced. 2 types of turbojet engines are used in the Geran 4, the discontinued Chinese Takeoff LXWP-160 engine, 160 kg, 1600 N thrust, and a Chinese engine previously seen on the Geran 5, the Telefleet TFTJ-2000A, 200 kg force, 1960 N thrust. The new Geran 4 airframe allows active maneuvering at speeds of 300 to 400 km per hour, while its reinforced structure withstands significant overloads. It is reported that the Geran 4 can reach speeds of up to 500 km per hour and an altitude of up to 5,000 meters. The UAV can carry a 50 kg fragmentation high explosive or thermobaric warhead, OFZBCH-50, TBBCH-50M, or an enlarged 90 kg thermobaric warhead, TBBCH-90, with a range of up to 450 km. The onboard control system and electronic components are identical to those used in previous UAVs produced by the Alabuga Special Economic Zone Company. The dimensions of the new Geran 4 airframe remain unchanged, 3.5 meters in length and 3 meters in wingspan. Jet-powered drones are launched by long rails and accelerate to flight speed before the engine takes over. The GER said the Geran 4 has an improved airframe, a more reinforced structure, and an engine that provides greater thrust than its predecessor variants. The design allows for active maneuvering. Neither Russia's defense ministry nor its U.S. embassy responded to requests for comment on the GER assessment. Russia's jet-powered drones have not been used as widely in combat as the propeller-driven Geran 2, although Moscow has expanded the infrastructure to support their launches at various airbases. Ukraine has signaled that it is preparing for an uptick in Russian jet-powered drones. For instance, interceptor drone makers have said they are developing faster models to chase down the newer Gerans. Fedorov, the defense minister, told reporters that Ukraine is focused on developing a stockpile of low-cost interceptor missiles to prepare for the emergence of jet-powered drones, and that Kyiv has already begun testing. Ukraine aims to scale production and build out a stockpile before the fall, Fedorov said, as Russia typically ramps up missile and drone strikes during the colder months. The rise of interceptor drones, followed by the debut of jet-powered Gerans, and Ukraine's development of cheap missiles in response to that, follows a similar trend throughout the conflict, where one side fields a new technology that forces the other to adapt and counter. Ukrainian and Western officials have often described the conflict as a cat-and-mouse arms race, as both sides seek to gain an edge on the battlefield through tactical and weapons innovation.